great. I want to welcome everybody. My name is Rudy Bachman. I'm the president of Yofafo here on the state side, on the Central Coast. Chris Byrne, Dr. Byrne is co-director. He's not able to be here today, but he sends his greetings, and he'll be leading the next one on Thursday, right, Ashley? The next?
On Wednesday at 5:30.
And Ashley Hernandez, she's our administrator. And then also want to introduce Steve Curry. He's on our advisory board. So I want to welcome everybody. Normally we have our series here when Valance is able to travel, but obviously with COVID, he's not able to travel to California and to the East Coast this year. So we set up a series of Zoom meetings. And so we're thankful for all the support and the interest and for you attending this morning. And so Ashley's got a robust agenda with a number of speakers with Tiffany and Jan and Steve. So with that, you want to go ahead and introduce Valance, and we'll get started with him for a general update on what's happening in Uganda with the students.
Yes, that sounds wonderful. Yeah, like Rudy said, my name is Ashley Hernandez, and I'm super grateful to be here with all of you. I joined Yofafo as administrative coordinator in 2017, and I have to tell you that my life has not been the same since. I've really been able to meet a wonderful group of people, and the most important ones are all of you. So thank you for all that you do and you continue to do for Yofafo. It would really not be the same. But our panelist doesn't really need an introduction, but in case you're new, I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about Valance. So he was born in the village of Kintula and remains the only person from his village to graduate from the university. He promised that when he finished his degree in development, he would return to his community and ensure that he wasn't the first and last person to receive a university degree. Through hard work and an unwavering determination, Valance received a bachelor's degree in developmental studies from Mikiri University in Kampala, Uganda, and is now the founder and director of Yofafo. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and have Valance give us some updates on Yofafo.
Oh, thank you, Ashley. Good to have the founder and director of the Youth Focus Africa Foundation. I want to especially thank everyone that has spared the time to come and be part of this Zoom meeting this evening for our side, and this very morning for those of you that are in California and the rest of the world. Happy, very, very delighted that we can get this time, even when we are separated physically. I know around this time I would be in the US speaking and sharing the story and the success of what we've accomplished in the year with Yofafo. It's an opportunity and a time that I look forward every year to just connect with the sponsors, share the stories, and tell the people about what we've done together in the year. I want to say that we've accomplished quite a bit together with all of you, our faithful supporters and partners this year. Despite the challenges of COVID-19, I want to say together we've done quite a commendable job. Lives have been changed, lives have been transformed. The children's lives have been transformed, and that could not happen without your faithful support and partnership with us in this year of 2020. I want to convey my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for the love and support, without which we wouldn't be where we are at this point. To the board, Yofafo board in the US, I have no words to thank you. Thank you so much for the tireless work that you continue to do throughout the year. Thank you so much. our faithful sponsors. Without your support um, and commitment, be part of what we are doing, we wouldn't be able to be where we are to this day. So I thank you very, very much. The other thing that I wanted to bring to your notice is the Yofafo mission and vision. Yofafo started in 2005. In 2005, we started out of a desire for myself to go back to my village and bring about worthwhile change. And this would only happen by establishing a school and the women empowerment programs that we've established right there. Are you there?
Yes, we're here.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah. Without which I wouldn't have been able to accomplish. So in 2005, I went to my village, started a school in the village of Kitola, and it's been 15 years since we started. But out of those 15 years, we've been able to operate on 2 campuses and run 3 schools, benefiting a little over 1,000 children. And these children wouldn't have an education in any way whatsoever. And this last year, we are very delighted to have our very first graduating school and a graduating class. Had it not been for COVID, they would be now joining higher institutions of learning, that is college. And we are looking for that time when the universities will open for them to go and continue their studies. So that has happened because I chose to leave the comfort zones in the town to go back and bring about lasting change in my village of Kitola. And this has been envisioned or enshrined in the Yofafo mission, which is to transform the lives of children and women by providing life-changing education opportunities that will bring about hope to reach their full potential and bring about the desired social change. And this we continue to do through our women empowerment programs, because sponsoring a 1 or 2 children is good, but then empowering the mothers to look for the other, to support the other children is very critical to our mission. And that's why we embody in the women, because these out of these children, most of these children have either lost one or both their parents, and they are in the communities, and their mothers have not gone to school. They don't have an education. So giving them a skill has been very critical in our commitment to bring about this transformation that we so much desire and cherish. So that has been a very critical component of our efforts as Yofafo. And to this day, quite a bit of, we've established an empowerment center that continues to empower women with skills, sewing skills, farming skills, and micro loan support that we've committed to giving these women some skills, 1 or 2, that way they can be able to run 1 or 2 business. So this has been very, very critical in our efforts to bring about the transformation that we desire. So overall, Yofafo has gone right now where there was no hope, completely no hope. Right now, there's light. The children they have got that spark in life to start afresh, because when we started earlier on educating our children and trying to bring about the change that we needed through education, it was impossible for most of these children to know that they have potential within themselves, that they can be something in life, they can excel, they can they can they can academically excel, and that has been very, very achieved and evident to see that the children in our schools have gone on to get good grades. Our schools have excelled in national tests. When we do in Uganda, we do a national exam every year, and these children have excelled. So that has been very critical and very, very inspiring to see that some of our children have excelled in that area. So overall, over the years, Yofafo has held so strongly to the power of empowerment as a core value in the mission and vision of Yofafo, that Yofafo will continue to focus on empowerment as a key area, to empower the community, to empower the mothers, to empower the children to be all that they can be. The other core value of Yofafo that we are committed to is sustainability. We want to see that everything that we do is sustainable, that will last a lifetime. The other core value of Yofafo that we cherish so much is volunteerism. Volunteers have been part and parcel of the work that we do as Yofafo. Many people have come to volunteer with Yofafo, and out of that, they have left their seeds. They have started on something. They have inspired us. They have enlarged these children's worldview, that it is not them alone. There are also other people around the world that care so much about them. So that has been very critical as a core value of Yofafo. The other core value of Yofafo has been hope. In everything that we do as Yofafo, we are committed to inspiring hope that there is a better life tomorrow for these children. There is a better life for these mothers tomorrow. So that has been also very critical to us as Yofafo to advance our mission. So overall, this year has been with ups and downs. Because of COVID, the economy has been affected terribly, which I can imagine it's been all over the world. And I know the US as well has not been spared. And these are very hard times for everyone, especially world over. And this poses a challenge for Yofafo going forward in the subsequent year. We have about 1,000 children that are in our schools, a little over 1,000 actually, that in our schools. And these children have been at home, but last month on the 15th, the government let the candidate classes come and start studying because they have to be doing their national tests. And we are hopeful that in next year early or mid next year, we'll have the rest of the classes also let in. But this also poses a challenge for us going forward. Many people have lost their jobs here in Uganda because people interdepend. They have lost their jobs, businesses have been closed, and some people have been laid off in the villages. It's a total challenge, basically. And going forward, we know that next year will not be an easy year for us as an organization, but we are confident that we will overcome. And together with your support, even during these hard times, I know we'll be able to overcome. So I wanted to just say thank you so much, all our dear sponsors, for the support, encouragement, and commitment. And again, I'll say that we have been able to bring about the desired transformation in the lives of our children this year together. And I'm so grateful for all of you, your support and commitment to the purpose and mission of Yofafo. And I know together next year we can make a huge difference. There are many opportunities to get engaged with our work. One of it is to continue to be a part of our sponsorship program. Sponsorship in many ways helps us run the schools. Three schools with the sponsorship, we are able to help the children corporately as a pool to see that we get the children an education, food, and everything. So that is our hope for the coming year, to see that we are able to do that. And also to continue with our programs for the women empowerment programs that we continue to do. So I just wanted to say thank you again, and I'm looking forward to a very fruitful discussion and interaction with all of you, our sponsors, in the next minutes ahead. So for now, I'll stop here and I'll look forward to hearing some of your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you again for now.
Thank you, Valence, for that wonderful insight. I just wanted to also open the floor for Q&A. If anyone has questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask them. And I also have some questions that were submitted through our RSVP too, if you have time for that at the end.
So while we're waiting, I want to make an introduction real quick. Karen Zappia has joined us. She's also on the board. And then you'll see Jovia also. Hi, Jovia. Jovia is the accountant, bookkeeper, and administrator on the Ugandan side. And she's been so instrumental in the financial reporting and transparency that's gone into place over the last several years, and has really helped us support Valence and the schools from business practices and accounting. And so Jovia, she was here. I think we may have lost her, but just give Jovia a quick shout out.
Hi everyone too, I'm Karen. Sorry I was a few minutes late.
Good to see you, Karen.
Yeah, thank you, Karen, for being here. So one question that did come in the RSVP is, has the COVID-19 virus hit the school, and what are the challenges in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Okay, good. Thank you, Ashley. COVID-19 has affected, of course, the schools, because the children had to go back from school early this year. Actually, that was in March, the 20th to be specific, the 20th of March. That's Jovia. The 20th of March of this year, the schools were closed, and that posed a big challenge, because most of the children, there's no IT or anything. What we had to do is we had to prepare materials, print the work, and ask the children to come and pick it. The children were picking it one by one, and they would take it their homes, and our teachers, they would bring it back, and our teachers would be able to mark, and then the children come and collect it. So it has been that has been the challenging bit of it, and has affected the smooth running of the schools, because the children have to walk, come, pick the materials, the handwritten work, and then take it back. So that's what we've done in this COVID time. But also the families have been affected because obviously there has been challenge on food because as the lockdown came up, there was a lot of lack, and that has been supplemented by efforts of the Yofafo board has been able to send some money here that we've been able to benefit families with food and food supplies every month. So that has been very helpful as well to supplement the local food supply in the families. So that has been also very, very helpful for us to do. We've done that during this COVID time. And the children, of course, it has brought about in the wider communities, there's been a lot of, as now the reports indicate, there's a lot of teenage pregnancy because the children now are stuck in the village and there's no motion. They're in the villages, and that is something that is coming up. There are kids that are in that process are getting pregnant, and depression, of course, and that has been affecting the children because, and domestic violence, because the parents don't have any income streams, and that because of the demands, there's been a huge domestic violence in the community. So that has also impacted negatively on our community during this COVID-19.
So, Balance, this is really one thing that you'd mentioned in our previous meeting was this is the first time Uganda's had a national level shutdown in 35 years. And that is just I guess the thing that I took away was just the severe economic challenges, and then also to just expand on the food program. Steve Curry really initiated that food program support from our side based on the conversations that the two of you have had. And so for the benefit of everybody here, what we've been able to do is, in addition to our monthly sponsorship support that goes to Uganda, we've been able to send $1,000 a month for a food program since April. And Jovia and Valence and their team has been able to distribute maize flour in the villages, and it's made a huge impact. Talk a little more about that, and then also about specifically the school schedule. You've got kids in school right now studying for national exams, P7 to go to high school, S5 go to college, and then when does school start back up next year and holiday?
Yeah, the school started. Okay, first of all, I'll start with that about the schools. The school started on the 15th of October last month. 15th of October last month, that's when the school started. And that we've been running now for 1 month, specifically for the candidate classes. The candidate classes are the classes that will actually sit the national test. The national test is a national exam that the kids that graduate the kids to a subsequent class. So for instance, there are kids that will sit O level, and that is the Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education, and that will take them to high school. And then there will be the P7, the kids that do the P7 exams to go to secondary, like secondary school. So those were allowed in with very strict SOPs, standard operating procedures. We had to put that in place at the schools, like put sanitizers, put a lot of sanitation. That is all embodied in sanitation. Try to put everything in place, and the Ministry of Education had to come and check, cross-check whether we have all SOPs in place, like by the pressure, the temperature guard, like to measure every person who comes in their temperature. We had to also put hand washing facilities on the campus. That we've done. The ministry was happy with what we did, and they let us operate, which was good. But also the teachers were already on campus, but also they required all of our kids to be able to wear face masks, like in class. And our teachers, everyone had to have a face mask as they are in class, and they had to put all that on. So that the schools have begun, and the hope is that in the next 1 month or 2 months after the presidential elections, we'll have our presidential elections on the 14th of January. The 14th of January, we'll have our presidential elections, and on the 20th of January, we anticipate that the schools will open for the rest of the classes or part of the classes. But also, as of yesterday, we lost a doctor, a nursing, I would call them a medical personnel here at our local hospital. She has been with COVID, and yesterday she died. So with some deaths coming up, we don't know exactly what will happen, but she died yesterday. She tested positive a couple of days back, but yesterday we had the bad news that she died. So even here in Lugazi, we lost a medical personnel. Lugazi is like our town here, and we had a doctor there. She died yesterday. So quite a bit of challenges there, but we are trying to be positive to see what the government will come up on the 20th of January next year.
Thank you for sharing that, Valence. I'm sorry about the woman who passed. We do have a couple more questions that the sponsors who are here today have sent in the chat. Someone would like to know what the graduating students are doing that just graduated last year while waiting to attend universities.
Yeah, some of those kids are in the villages. Of course, with COVID, some had to go there in the villages, and we kept track of them. Actually, today we had, because of our candidate class, today I had a meeting with one of them. I called him, and we want that one to come and be a teaching assistant to one of our candidate classes, because actually two of them want them to be teaching assistants to one of our candidate classes, because they did well in their national test and they're in the village. So if they come and become teaching assistants, we are trying to see, because we want to beef up our kids. When they went in the villages, they got, with COVID and all the anxiety, they have been academically behind. After this 1 month, they are academically behind, and that is the report we are getting from the teachers, and we can also observe. So we want to enforce academics, and then usually kids with their fellow, like these kids have just graduated, most likely there will be some enforcement. So that's what we are anticipating for the coming month, to add them. But to answer your question specifically, they are in the villages, helping with their families, with chores, farming, digging, and all that. But we hope that these kids will be able to join, because now there have been no admissions in the colleges. There are no admissions because of COVID interrupted, and we anticipate they'll be able to join college in August this year. That's what we anticipate. So that is the hope. So in the meantime, they're in the village, just to be specific.
Well, we'll keep them in our prayers so they can hopefully join in August and start at university. The next
Sure.
question is, can you please tell us what the outlook is for Uganda restarting schooling maybe this year or next year?
Yeah, the outlook right now, it keeps on changing with COVID coming up and here and there, but we are hopeful early next year they'll be able to open some classes. So this year we hope some classes early this year.
Sorry, Valence, you broke up a little bit. Can you repeat maybe the last couple sentences?
I said that beginning up next year, starting next year, early January, about the 20th of January, we anticipate that school will be open for some more classes to be added on.
Perfect. Okay. So it sounds like some classes will be starting to open in January, you said.
In January, yeah, some more classes. That's what we anticipate.
Okay, perfect. And then the last question is it possible to have a teacher once a week for a couple hours to conduct adult education to maybe assist the mothers in the Women Empowerment Center in supervising the schoolwork?
Say it again, Ashley.
Is it possible to have a teacher once a week for maybe a couple hours to conduct adult education to help assist the mothers in supervising the schoolwork?
Oh, yeah, I get you that. What happens actually, that happens, but informally, without knowing or not knowing, because our teachers are residents on site. They continually interact with the parents. And that there's been a big rapport between the parents and the teachers. Actually, some of our teachers right now, they are part of the women saving groups. Some of our teachers have interacted so well with the mothers of Yofafo, and some of our teachers, something that we have been trying to think that our teachers, we are integrating our teachers into the Yofafo programs, and some of our teachers are now part of they are integrated into it. So that is very positive on that. So to answer your questions, that to be hard, we cannot have the teachers directly, but indirectly, the teachers are helping the mothers because they're integrated into their programs. Does that answer your question fairly?
Yes, thank you, Valence. Are there any other last questions that anyone wants to ask before we move on to Dr. Tiffany Hanman? Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, Valence, for your time and all the updates. Our next guest is Dr. Tiffany Hanman. Is she here? Okay, here she is. I'm going to go ahead and pin her. Okay, perfect. So Dr. Tiffany Christian is joining us today from Boone, North Carolina. She has been a volunteer and donor of Yofafo since 2008. Wow, Tiffany, that's super incredible. She met Valence during one of his trips to Appalachian State and has actually taken many volunteers to Uganda with her. She considers Valence and his team her second family and actually sponsored the first high school graduation ceremony last year. So everyone, let's please welcome Dr. Tiffany Christian.
Hello. I'm really excited just to share with you a little of how I came to know Yofafo and Valence, what it has meant and what has sustained my involvement. And I'll recap the story in the way I processed it, not quite in the way it happened. So I was teaching a cultural competence class in the social work curriculum. And I got an email that there was a man from Africa who ran a nonprofit, and I thought it would be good if he talked to my class. That's about the extent of it. Balance showed up. My students were so taken by his passion and what he was doing in the village that they begged me to figure out how we could go on a trip. So that was the fall of 2007. Spring of 2008, I got off a plane with 10 students, never having touched the continent of Africa, having no idea what was going on, fueled by Balance's passion. And that was the start of this relationship. Couple of things. Number one, okay, when I went to Uganda the first time, my kids were 2, 2, 9, and 11. No, 2, 2, 9, and 10. So I left my husband home with 4 very small kids. But I knew it was something I had to do, and I knew it was the right thing I had to do, and I've not regretted it. A couple of things that keep me going. Here in the US, we can get overwhelmed by opportunities to help. Everybody is providing us with this opportunity to help. But when you go and you see how your money's being used, when you see what is happening, when you see lives actually being changed, when you hear the stories from people who are experiencing the benefits of your generosity, it makes the world of difference. When you see how Balance lives, there's not this ton of overhead. Like, Balance is doing what he needs to get by, but he is not benefiting from this. Every bit of his energy and passion goes into these programs. The 5th year that we had taken students, we had a celebration, and that year always stands out for me in 2 ways. One, my daughter, when she was 11, for her Girl Scout project, raised money for pigs. So she happened to be with me for that 5-year anniversary, and she got to meet a mother who had received one of those pigs and used that money to put her daughter through high school. So my 14-year-old daughter got to see that money she raised, that $25 for one pig, turned into a high school education for a young girl. That's making the most of your generosity. The second thing that happened during that is Prosy was talking, and Prosy was one of the teachers at that time. And we had been working on, oh my gosh, the school looks so much different now. Like, I want to cry hearing Valence talk about it and thinking about what the school looked like when we started. But we had been working on several buildings. And what Prosy said was, when we look at these buildings, we know God loves us because he sent you here to help us. We thought we were just building a building. But what that building meant in terms of hope is hard to put words to. There's no such thing as too little. Again, my 11-year-old's $25 for a pig educated a young girl. There's no such thing as too little. But there's no such thing as too much either. If you're inclined, like, yeah, I could sponsor a kid, but I want to do something bigger. There are bigger things that you can do. And you don't have to worry about, is this money going to be used properly? No, none of that. Like, you don't have to think about it. You write the check, you click the PayPal, whatever you do, and you go on knowing that you are changing countless lives. And I think the other part of that is having visited what it does when you come back home. There's this ethical dilemma. Do I send the money that I would spend on a plane ticket, or do I go? Not everybody needs to go, but there needs to be enough people in your circle who have seen it, who have felt it, who have experienced it, so they can share that. The students that I've taken over the years continue to serve, if not with Yofafo, with other international organizations. They get it. 2 of my 4 kids have traveled with me. They get it. They know they have an obligation to the world that is bigger than they are. And that only comes from living that life. And so I just encourage you, again, in your friend circles, even if people are like, I don't want the long-term commitment of sponsorship, we're not having real Christmas parties this year. Have a virtual Christmas party. Hey, send that $20 you would spend on a bottle of wine over to me so that we can make this gift, so that we can educate children, so that we can pay for a teacher's salary. All those things. It does not take a lot. It just takes the desire. And I just want you to remember that you can have utmost confidence in how your donations are being spent, that they're being handled wisely, that these women and children are benefiting. I continue to have conversations and relationships with women and children I met year one, 2008. You know, I get emails, I get little messages on my WhatsApp. These are part of my family. Like I have a whole family in Uganda. And so I just want to encourage your support, however that looks, whatever that looks like, because it really is appreciated and beneficial.
Thank you, Dr. Tiffany Christian, for your wonderful story. It always warms my heart to think about the relationship that you have with Valence and the Hopeland schools and the students there. So thank you for taking the time to be here all the way from Boone, North Carolina. Okay, so next we have Jan Northington, who is joining us from Los Osos, California. She has been a sponsor of Yofafo since 2014. She shares that Yofafo actually reached out to her when we discovered Days for Girls and knew their products would be meeting a need for the girls and women of Yofafo. So ever since 2014, she sent a suitcase filled with menstrual hygiene products back to the girls in Hopeland schools, including her own sponsored child, Esther Maribi. So Jan, we cannot wait to hear more about the impact you've made through menstrual hygiene products for the girls in Uganda.
Thank you. And I set a few photos there for Ashley to start putting up. In 2018, I actually took a team of 15 ladies with me to Hopeland School. And I was at that time also working with a group that was putting solar power in. So there we go. This is the sign there at Hopeland School, and a picture of the Hopeland School, and a picture of the classrooms. And next is a picture of our team. We did put in a couple of solar panels while we were there, but we also, is it coming? There we go. The kids greeted us. There they are, the solar panels. And Chris, who was here for a little while, was on that trip with me. We were warmly greeted by the children and just had a wonderful time with them. You can go next. We're here with Valence and his wife Doreen and little girl Abigail. We had lunch with the children. The mamas fixed us a wonderful lunch. And moving on. Oh, this is the jungle gym. Very creative those kids are, and we had so much fun going out in the playground and playing with them. Moving on. And of course, our white Mzungu skin is always quite the thing, the draw. Enjoyed all the playtime with the children. And then we did present our Days for Girls curriculum, and the wonderful part of having a team of 15 ladies was that we could have individual presentations with the girls. So that was just a plus. And moving on, we provided kits to all the kids there at the school. And you can see this happy gal on the right. So thankful for the kits that we brought. And moving on, there they are, showing off their kits that allow them to stay in school. And in the beginning, Valence is the one who reached out to us and recognized that this would be such an addition to what they were trying to provide by helping girls stay in school. So one more thing, I have also some sponsored Esther here on the right. This is a picture of me with her mom and Valence's little girl there. But it was a joy of the trip to actually meet my sponsored child. And so I believe next we have a video that Chris Burns' son put together for us. And it explains a little bit more about what Days for Girls is and the impact that it's had at Hopeland School. We're going to start in the middle of it there for time's sake, and the children are going to report exactly how these kits have impacted them.
Junior School Chitola, and I'm really glad to meet you. Those kits have been very useful because the first time the school didn't have some, and people could come and they could get ashamed, even the young children, because they could just, a young child to see you with blood on your uniform, it could be very bad and embarrassing. So we thank you for everything. And as Madam has said, if you provide more, we shall be very glad, because the school will stop to suffer with these children. We really want to thank you for sending us those kits, because the day they came, at least now we are seeing there is a change. They can keep you safe, and no one can know that this and this has gone in periods, because they are those parts they wouldn't use. Maybe when they use the clothes you put, maybe you may be moving or playing like netball, soccer, then it falls down there. And you see that you get ashamed. But the day you send those kids, at least they can keep us safe.
Very good question. Should you wear this every day? When do we wear this? When we have menstruation, during menstruation, yes. And please remember, this goes into here. It is like a pocket, okay? It is like a pocket. It goes in here and in here, okay? Can I, if I just use this and it's dirty, can I use it again? No, what must I do first? Wash it. What do I need to wash it with? Soap and water. Good. What kind of water? Hot, clean, hot water. Very good. Clean, hot water. Yes. Because this part of our body is special.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jan, for that great introduction. And I'd just like to also say that if you look up the academic research on the impact of access to menstrual hygiene for young girls, you'll see that their chances of entering into poverty are 3 times less. They are more likely to become educated, because most girls actually end in third world countries their academic school year at the age of 8 or 9, or once they start their menstruals. So the impact that you do, Jan, is super amazing. Thank you for being here. So next up, we have Steve. Steve is a pivotal part of our Yofafo team. He joins us from rural Rio Grande, and he became involved with Yofafo about 9 to 10 years ago through a fellow Rotarian. They collectively worked to build a water well at the Katula School and are happy to report it is still in use today. Steve has spearheaded so many initiatives I can't even count as our board member, including a Yofafo food program, computer labs, a solar power in the Hopeland schools. He also sponsors 8 students, including Abaya Aziz, who are featured on the front of the sponsorship brochure. So Steve, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all. First of all, thanks for everybody for coming. I have a quick, just a couple pictures. Yeah, so let me get this going, and then so thanks for coming. Right now, as we all know, that with the pandemic, things are different here. They're different in our country. They're different around the world. A lot of my friends and people I talk to, you know, are talking about how their lives have changed here. And I tell these people, you know, who are complaining about our restrictions that we have now, and how we have to stay in our homes. We can't go everywhere. We're staying in our homes, nice homes with Netflix, Prime Video, food in the refrigerator, while our students in Uganda, they're living in a home with no electricity, no running water, no TV, no stove, no refrigerator. And a lot of them at this time are facing a food crisis, as is much of Africa. And I know a lot of you were preaching to the choir here today. Most of us sponsor students. And for $365, my job here today was to tell you how much it costs and to kind of go through that. What we all know that it's $360. And the idea is we're not just helping that student, we're helping the family. It's hard to pay to send a kid to school in Uganda, especially right now when you're not working. So when we're sponsoring a student, even in normal times, we're freeing up money for the family for food and for other basic needs. Times are disastrous right now in Africa. I want to kind of, Tiffany, you're amazing. When I was in Uganda 3 times the last 4 years, I kept hearing about the North Carolina group and over and how much they had done and how many times they'd come and how many sponsors. And I can see why you're great. So I'm really happy to meet you today. And Jan, the same thing when I was there. The superintendent of schools for the entire district where Valence's schools are said the #1 reason that girls drop out of school is because they don't have these menstrual pad kits, and that's when they drop out of school. So I then saw a newspaper article, the national newspaper, that said the same thing, that this was the #1 reason why girls in Uganda drop out of school. So what you're doing is so great. I want to just kind of real quickly agree with what Tiffany said. When we go to these places and we see what the money's actually doing, we can tell you that your money is being well spent. It's being spent wisely and it's helping these children. So the thing that kind of, it's a hard time now because of the virus and because we're at home and we're wondering what's going on over there. This is the time when we need help more than ever. Because this is the hardest time right now. So if you can continue to sponsor your student, if you can get another student and sponsor a second or third student, that would be great. If you can share our message with your friends, that would be great, because what we're trying to do is expand the base of our sponsors. So this is kind of what it looks like. This is the grandmother, 2 kids, and one of the students that's sponsored by Don Weber. And Linda and I visited their house. I think that we can all see that what we're doing here is beneficial. And I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone that's helping, and please keep it up, spread the joy. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Steve, for the wonderful work you do. So before we end, I'm going to show a quick video that was shot last year during one of our annual trips, and it really highlights what the experience is like during the time when we are all in person.
I'm going to the Rotary Club of Kisumu Beach here in California. I'll be talking about meeting the sponsors that are sponsoring some of our children at the Hopeland schools. The ocean is nice.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day here.
It's a nice view. I'm Valence Rutaisire, the founder and director of Yofafo, Youth Focus Africa Foundation, but also the director of the Hopeland schools that this very year will have our seniors graduate to go to university. 15 of them, the very first kids we started with. So it's been an amazing journey to see some of these kids since they were young, growing and now going into university next year. When the schools grow, comes with a lot of challenges. More children will need sponsors, and that has been one of our greatest support system, because when you sponsor a kid, you help us run the schools.
Balance knows these kids, so he might be able to give you some
Exactly,
information.
that's what I'm here. Yeah, young kid, yeah, exactly.
Their favorite subject is science. This tells a little bit about her. You'll also get, you'll get a newsletter. So every month or so, you'll get an email with, what's going on in the schools and all that. Over 1,000 students at his 3 schools and 75 teachers. So this isn't some small thing. This is a big thing. Part of what we're going around doing is trying to get sponsors. $365 to be a sponsor. That's brochures on your table. Our club sponsors 2 students together. The whole club, we have about 17 students sponsored out of this group. Right now, I have 5 students that we sponsor. We sponsor Linda and I 8 students. 5 of them are graduating. They're in the graduating class. This is the first graduating class for the Copeland schools. And at first I went and it was amazing. And it changed my life to see what was going on there. But as I've gone back, it's still amazing, but now these people are my friends. And these students are like, my nephews and nieces. And I feel like, what we're doing to help them is really going to change their lives. They tell us it's changing their lives.
For most of the children in the community, they get a lot of attention in schools like ours that are private because there's commitment, there's zeal, there's interest. And right now, our school, one of our campuses, is almost 500 children because of that commitment, that wake-up call on the community to know that with education, there's a lot of possibilities, and it's not what you see outside, it's what is inside. So the attitudes have begun to change as a result of our engagement with these communities to bring education.
27 Rotarians signed up to be sponsors for kids in the last 3 days because they see the value of the program. They see the impact we're having on these kids, and it is an emotional, attachment, and it's an emotional result. So the impact's been great. We love what we're doing, and I'm going to just keep doing it.
That's great. So just a quick comment on sponsorship. Obviously, everybody here has seen the testimony and the personal commitments and experience from Steve, from Tiffany, from Jan, and then with Valence, with your update and the challenges that Hopeland schools are experiencing right now. I just want to reiterate that sponsorship, like a rising tide, lifts all ships. So your sponsorship contributions raise the whole school, makes the opportunities for all the students there real, and really provides hope, especially in this time. Tiffany, one of the things that you mentioned was just the, doesn't take a lot, but just the desire. And just that desire and that commitment makes those folks, especially the students, have hope. Steve, you mentioned it. We have had a lot of things taken away, if you will, but we still have so much. And the impacts there are huge. So every little bit counts. I know everybody here is financially challenged. And so if there's any challenges that you guys have, just reach out to myself or Ashley. The sponsorship renewal packages did go out about a week ago. The mail's a little bit slow, so some of you guys may have started receiving those. Unfortunately, we don't have letters this time. Normally this time of the year, we'd be able to send you the handwritten letter from your sponsored child, but because the school's not in session, we're not able to do that. We're hopeful that we're able to send those update letters in the springtime. But in the meantime, we sent out the sponsorship with magnet and sticker and some other things. And we've got another surprise that will be coming out here soon. So Ashley sent the chat out, the website, yofafo.org. Thank you for your support, and thank you to the team and everybody that does their part. Many hands make light work and make a difference. It does take a village. Balance, thank you. May you keep the faith and the encouragement, especially during this time, to lead the teachers and all the support staff, and Jovia also. You're in our thoughts and prayers. Ashley, thank you for all you do.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Please feel free to email me if you have any questions. My email is admin@yofafo.org, and I put it in the chat.
All right.
And Ashley, you might want to mention that we're going to do this again.
Yes, Wednesday.
Yes. We're going to do a second one on Wednesday at 5:30, and I will be sending all sponsors an email about that one as well.
Great.
So invite your friends.
Yes, invite your friends and family members.
Post it. All right. Thank you all.